But when I was in a band, I was like practice Thursday, practice Saturday, practice Sunday, have a show Saturday. If you don't go to practice, you can't be in the band. Just brutal. Finally, my band, I remember, booted me. The way they booted me was the best too. They were trying to tell me for months. And what they did was I went to the studio to practice and they took all their gear except my microphone and my mic stand and just left that. And I was so stupid that I called our guitar player and said, we've been robbed. And he's like, no, dude, we don't want to play with you. We just took our gear. And I'm like, what? And he goes, we've been trying to tell you for months. I'm like, oh my God. So I ended up moving to LA. I just bailed. Ford Escort, leather jacket, skateboard. I had one friend in LA, Brian Ray. He's like, come down to LA, man, live with me. He was like, had it together. He had a job at Slash Records. He had like a girlfriend, he was going out with a woman. He had a house, he had a car. And he was like, you can live on my couch for a month. That's all I'll give you. And I'm like, okay. He goes, and if you can't get it together, then you gotta split. And I'm like, all right. So I come down and I remember the first night I moved into Hollywood, it was insane. I go to a party at this house I'm staying at. Dudes from Jane's Addiction are there, Chili Peppers, Fishbone. I was like, all the people that I watched play my whole life, now I'm around them. And I remember I was like full skater, dude. I had like long hair, baseball cap, shorts. What's up? And immediately I realized, man, I gotta fix my vibe. And that was the best thing because there's no internet then. So no one knows, oh dude, you're the bleached haired kook, like no one knows. I'm like, and I remember I went to a barbershop and I'm like, I want to get my hair cut. And I remember I brought in a photo, like I want to say like of Mike Ness or something from like Social D. And I gave it to the barber. I want my hair like that. And that's how I ended up with this haircut. Cause like before then, I was just like skater dude. I wanted to start a new band. And I was trying to find people to play with. And it was different then because, you go to Guitar Center and you'd put a little like post up, like looking for a drummer, looking for this. And I put a post up looking for a drummer and I get a phone call from this dude. And he's like, hey man, I'm Loomis. I play drums. Okay. Tell me about your band or tell me about, do you want to join my band? And what ended up happening was he had already had a band together. They were looking for a singer. So I go up to meet them at this apartment. And back then, the apartment buildings in Hollywood, everyone that was going to be someone was living in these apartments. They were like huge 12-story, 13-story, 14-story apartment buildings that they had this thing like first month free, and then people would move in. So all these bands that were trying to get signed in Hollywood were all living there. At one point, we were all living in the same building with White Zombie, the dudes in Weezer, Circus of Power, Wax. We were all living there, but none of it had happened yet. I get a phone call, come up. We want to meet you. Okay, start hanging out with those guys. And right away, the chemistry's there. And they tell me, we're looking for a singer. I go, awesome. And one of them had a rehearsal spot. Let's go rehearse. Okay, cool. We got some song ideas. I got some lyrics. And it was just natural. When Wax, each one of these guys, from the moment I walked in the door, I'm like, that guy could be the front man. Soda could be the front man. The bass player could be the front man. Loomis, oh my God, that guy, what is Loomis? It was just, you just knew there was just this chemistry right away. And we started practicing and I'll never forget. We practiced once, and the first practice, we already had like 3 songs. We practiced again, we had 6, and then we played our first gig. And I loved it. They were like, yeah, let's play. We played at this place called The Dump. It was called Club Dump. It was a club that was a big club on Hollywood, but behind it, they had a kitchen and they would run shows out of there once in a while and you'd play by the dumpster. And we played and everyone came out and we did our 6 songs and it was on. Within months of us starting the band, record labels were already talking to us. Record labels were like, coming to our shows. We only had 6 songs. Atlantic Records paid for us to do demos. We totally tried to record all 6 songs. It was terrible. Charisma Records was into us. Virgin Records was into us. Everyone was sniffing around. We were selling out shows. I remember one night I didn't even go in. I remember the guy goes, hey man, I got to pay you. And I went in to get paid, gave us like $2,000. I'm like, what? And it was happening so fast and so quick. Like everything that had taken me years and years and years in Northern California, I'd been playing music since I was 15. I came down to Hollywood and I was 23 years old, and we ended up just getting this momentum so quick that it came to the first Christmas that I flew home to see my mom. It was like, Mom, I think we might get signed. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, we have all these record companies totally interested in us. And she's like, oh my God. It was just all happening. What ended up happening during that Christmas break was there was a club ran by this promoter, Dale Gloria. She's a legend in the music business. Anyone that follows Guns N' Roses, Jane's Addiction, she was super integral part with a lot of those bands. She ran a club back in the day called The Scream, and then she started running this another club. She was running her club, and it was on Monday nights. And Dale ran the whole thing. And when I first came to Hollywood, Dale gave me my first job. She was just super cool. She knew everybody. So when my band started playing Wax, she would let us play at her club on Monday nights, which was a huge thing because industry was there. We go away for this Christmas break, and at this point we're selling tickets. People are coming to see us play. We have a buzz. And somehow or another, she had gotten in her head that the first Monday in January that everyone comes back, we were playing. And that wasn't the case. So we come back, everyone flies home, and all of a sudden we start seeing flyers or information like Wax headlining, and we're like, whoa, like, one of our guys isn't even home yet. And I remember I call her up and I go, hey, Dale, what's up? I go, there's some kind of confusion. You got us playing on this Monday, next week. And our guys aren't even here. And I don't know how it happened, but something messed up. But, we can't play that night. And she is not having it. She was not having it. And I go, I'm a kid. I'm like, hey, Dale, be cool. And then somehow or another, it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then she drops something. She says, hey, you don't play this show, you'll never play this town again. And being the smartass I was, I started laughing. Really? You're really going to say that? She's like, I'm telling you right now, you'll never. And I go, and then what, the punker in me, I'm like, all right, game on. We're not playing the show. And check it out. We will play this town again. And at that point, me and the bass player and all of the rest of the guys in the band were like, let's go. There was a porn shop at the corner by her venue. Literally, you'd walk down her venue and there was a porn shop. We're like, let's play in there. And we all start laughing and like doing it and everything. But we go down there and immediately we're like, dude, we're not playing at the porn shop. What about the donut shop? There was a donut shop right there. It was Santa Monica and Highland. And as we're there on Santa Monica and Highland, we all of a sudden, we look across the street, there's Del Taco. Dude, let's play Del Taco. Everyone's like, I'm in. We go over there. I go to the guy. Hi, I want to talk to the manager. Okay, who are you guys? We're Wax. We want to play here next Monday. We go, okay, it's on. And what do we do for the next week? Everyone's like, dude, I heard you guys got booted from, playing Dale's place. We're like, yeah, dude, we're playing Del Taco. People are like, Del Taco, the place on Santa Monica Island, the little restaurant, the fast food place. Yeah, we'd rather play there. And I'll never forget, man, as it got closer to the show, they started talking about it on the radio. People started, just this natural momentum happened. And the night that we show up there, parking lot is full. We push our gear in there, bring a little PA in there. I remember Loomis, there's video of it. Loomis is behind like some little table, people ordering tacos. All those lights are on. There's no lighting. It's just bright. And this is the best part about it. That was the whole thing. In the audience, as we're up there playing, all the dudes in Weezer, all the dudes in White Zombie, Rob, all those guys, Circus of Power, this band called Dumpster, Black Market Flowers, all the bands that were happening were there. And Phil Corderaro and Danny Goodman from Virgin Records were there. And when we got done with that set, we walked out in the parking lot and they both came over and they're like, we want to sign the band. We are your guys. You got to sign to Virgin Records. Let's have a meeting tomorrow. And that show pushed it over the edge. And we signed our first record deal a month later on Valentine's Day with Virgin Records because they said, dude, the fact that you guys figured out another place to play, the fact that you guys played Del Taco, the fact that you pulled it off, we were like, we got to work with this band.